Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Computer Man. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Apple's 2015 September WWDC event and cover the new iPhones, the new Apple TV, the new iPad Pro, as well as macOS 10 El Capitan release, iOS 9 release, and watchOS 2 release. So to get things started off, we're going to take a look at the new iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. And we're going to get right into the details of the 3D touch sensor. Now 3D touch gives you a new level of multi-touch, and with that you get a new sense of taps and swipes and pinching and peek and pop and other cool inter interactions with the phone itself. And it's like a right click on a computer basically for the phone. And here's the first feature. It's called Peek and Pop. Peek and Pop lets you view all kinds of content, and it lets you act on it without having to open the message or the mail, as in this case, all the way open to look at your inbox. And this is how Peek and Pop works. So you force click on it harder, and then you just hold it for a little bit, and you can look at it. If you keep clicking, or holding I should say, it opens it up into the full window. And here's they're showing you pictures of how they go from peeking into it to popping into the full mail, which is very nice if you want to try that out, but not a lot of people are using this feature, and this would be a good feature right here with clicking in websites that get message to you, the links. Instead of clicking and opening up Safari all the way, you can just peek into it and pop out, or you can peek and then pop into the full Safari site. And here's some new features they added to the photos, so now you can peek and pop into different photos, and then you can pop into them, or peek and then pop into them all the way if you want. And locations and stuff in the messages, when they send you a location, you can peek into the Maps app, and then pop into it if you want to. And now you get quick action, so you can make a single press right from the home screen onto any third-party apps that support this, or Apple apps which support this. And it gives you quick actions to make new phone calls in the phone application, and it's basically quick settings basically. And here's some other things with quick actions. So in the camera you can take a selfie, record video, slow motion, take a photo right from the quick actions menu. And in the messages you can compose a new message. You can message 3 people that you message a lot, or that you select it to be put there for quick messaging. In the Maps app you can get directions to your home, mark your location, send my location, or search nearby places that you want to go to in your location. And within the Mail app location, you can pop in and look at different people that might be in there. You can email stuff to, and quick actions to delete it, where you can just hold down and swipe over to the left and delete it faster. And with 3D touch, now you can do, in the Notes application, you can actually draw with your finger, and it can sense that, and you can get detailed drawings. And in the middle picture here, you can swipe on the far left hand corner at the bottom over into the multitasking switcher, And on the far left picture, you can do two-finger gesture on the keyboard, and you can use it like a trackpad like you would do on your computers, your laptops. And there's videos about the innovation behind 3D Touch and taking a peek at 3D Touch. And with 3D Touch gives you live photos, which basically it's like a GIF, and this live photos takes twice the amount of storage in your iPhone. And as you can see in the demo picture here, you can force touch on the screen, or 3D touch, I should say, on the screen, and you can see a little bit of movement, and you can get the audio as well, but that does take twice the amount of storage. And here are some Apple dynamic wallpapers that take advantage of the live photo and 3D touch feature. I have tried these features out on the iPhones when I went to the Apple Store to see them, and these features, live photos, seem to be a gimmick because not a lot of people would do it. It's like a short video, like a GIF, and it takes twice the amount of storage. But dynamic wallpapers that Apple give you, those are pretty cool. You can use live photos to make your own dynamic wallpapers, but a lot of people won't do that because they've been saying it's going to take a lot of storage. And in my opinion, you have to buy a iPhone with a lot of storage in it, preferably the 64 or 128, if you're going to be doing a lot of stuff like this. And not just that as well. And with the last thing on 3D Touch, the last couple things on 3D Touch, you get a new cover glass between the display, and it's talking about how it's able to track it faster and finger pressure and things like that. And this is actually the new cover glass they put on top, and of course the Retina HD display that has built-in 3D Touch. And underneath that, there's a capacitive touch sensor, and underneath that is a Taptic engine, so that's like your new vibrating motor. And different apps and games are now taking advantage of 3D Touch, and as of now, there are starting to build up a lot of apps that take advantage of that. And we're going to go take a look at the design of the new iPhones. So here's the design of the new 6S and 6S Plus. They're now made with the new 7000 series aluminum, which is stronger than the 6000 series aluminum in the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. So you don't have to worry about the bending issue. Bend gate is now solved. And now you got a new color called rose gold, which when you see this in person, it really does look like it's pink. And a lot of people are calling it the pink iPhone. And even I have called it the pink iPhone before. So the 7000 series aluminum, they're just talking about how it's stronger, and it's, you're not going to bend it that easily anymore. It can withstand 80 pounds of pressure, and if you check other videos on YouTube, you can see it takes a lot of force just to bend this phone. And they made a new glass on the screen, which is now a special dual ion exchange process, which makes it stronger on the molecular level. So instead of the Ion X glass from last year's iPhone 6, they improved it and made it stronger to make it somewhat less shatterproof. And with that, you get a sleek and seamless and four gorgeous finishes. They're talking about the new colors now: the gold, the silver, the space gray, and the new rose gold, basically. And the screen sizes have not changed. They're both the same resolutions as last year's generation. And on the iPhone 6S, it's a 4.7-inch display, just like last year's. Same resolution at 1334 by 750. And the Plus is 5.5, just like last year's 1920 by 1080 resolution. And these are the two new rose gold finishes. And here's software and hardware. So they have the new A9 chip, which is much faster than the previous generation of chips, and we'll get to more of that below. So here is the A9 chip I was telling you guys just a couple minutes ago. So with this chip, you're able to do way more faster stuff on this phone. And here's Touch ID and Apple Pay. And the Touch ID sensor has been improved, so now you don't even have to hold your finger down there on the Touch ID sensor for too long. You can just graze the top of it with your finger, and it unlocks it in a millisecond. It's very fast. It's the new second generation Touch ID, and Apple Pay has been improved because of that. And they did add new features in iOS for landscape view on the bigger 6S Plus. So here's what they did, what they were demoing earlier in the year, back in July. And here is the iPhone 6S docks. They come in all the 4 colors. And to let you know, on a personal note, I do have the space gray iPhone 6S dock that I use with my 5S. And to be honest, the dock works, but for $50 I wouldn't really recommend it all that much, because the lightning connector pins do get dirty and you will have to clean it off with some type of rubbing alcohol, or keep it away from dust, which will be very hard. And sometimes it would say this device can't charge, or this accessory is not supported, and if you move your iPhone on it, it disconnects really quick. So if you want to get it, you can, but for $50 I won't really say to get it, but if you really want it, you can get it. Now we're going to take a look at the new cameras in the iPhones. So with the 6S and 6S Plus, now you get a 12 megapixel camera with 4K video, live photos, and more. So now they improved the megapixels to 12 megapixels with the advanced pixel technology, which they put a new image sensing processor in there, and they did focus pixels and local tone mapping, and OIS in the 6S Plus is much improved, very improved. But sadly, the smaller iPhone 6S does not come with OIS. It only has digital stabilization. And live photos, they're talking about the new higher pixel count you can get with the live photos and things like that. So here are some live photos you can do. It comes with the audio and the video, like I said before. But they don't say this, but it does take twice the amount of storage. So beware when buying one of these iPhones, and if you want to do that. Only on the 6S and 6S Plus, of course. And now you get a 4K camera, so now you can record at 3840 by 2160. So to do 4K recording on the new iPhones, you have to go into the settings and go down to photos, and in there you have to change the resolution to 4K, because by default Apple doesn't set the recording video to 4K. And with that, it's just a much better improvement over any generation of iPhone. And you guys are really going to like 4K, but you guys might already know 4K takes a lot of storage, so buy the 128 model. I would say go with the 128 if you're going to be using it as a camera as well. And the front-facing camera has been upgraded to a 5 megapixel camera. So now that's much better for FaceTime, live photos you can do on there now. And it has a front-facing Retina flash, which means Apple has put a chip inside of the display on the logic board to light up the display like a true tone flash, just like on the LED lights on the back, but on the display. So it would be a true tone flash, and it would be very brighter. So instead of it having a physical LED true tone flash light on the front, it uses the display, which is a very cool technology. And now you can do live photos, like I said, and you can do time, like a 3-second countdown and stuff like that, and you can do panorama as well with the front-facing camera, as I believe you can do. So now we're going to talk about the A9 chip and what's powering this, and really we're going to get into the heart of the device. So they're talking again about the 3D touch and the capacitive sensors and the all-new Taptic engine at the bottom. But here's the real good part about it. Here's the new A9 chip. It's 90% faster than the previous generations of iPhones. And as you can see on the chart, it's 70% faster than the original iPhone. And of course, in graphics, it's also 90% faster. And with the new A9 chip, you get 2 gigs of RAM, which is low power DDR4, as well as the M9 chip is built in to the phone. Built into the A9 processor, which means it's always on. It has the same sensors as the last M8, but this time it's not a separate chip. It's built into the A9. It's always on, so you can do Hey Siri without having it plugged in and all that. And another thing I have to say about the A9 chip, there's 2 different versions. There's the Samsung and TSMC, which they're calling it the chip gate, which now not a lot of people are really talking about, but basically what chip gate is that the TSMC would be a 16 nanometer construction, which would save battery power but be a little bit bigger, while the Samsung has a 14 nanometer construction that uses more battery and basically would kill your battery faster than the TSMC chip. There's no way to find out when buying your iPhone because it's not going to say on the box, oh, Samsung chip or TSMC A9 chip inside. You have to use a special app that will let you know what chip you have. And there has been tons of videos about the Samsung chip versus the TSMC, and the TSMC is the best one to go for battery life and performance. And both of the chips are clocked at 1.84 gigahertz, and they have the new 2 gigabytes of low power DDR4 RAM. And here's the new camera sensors. They improved them. They did the new image sensors on the processors faster now and things like that. And Touch ID, like I already said, has been improved dramatically. The second generation to work faster, much better. Faster LTE, faster Wi-Fi. So now on LTE you get 23 bands, up to 300 megabytes per second over LTE. Wi-Fi now has been improved to 866 megabytes per second. And with the LTE, it's LTE 6, Cat 6. And with the Wi-Fi, it's 802.11 AC with MIMO support. And it has Bluetooth 4.2 in it. So low power Bluetooth 4.2. And voice over LTE has been improved as well. And we're gonna skip the iOS 9 look at, by the way, and we're gonna go right into the tech specs so I can really talk about some more details. So here's the iPhones, the 6S and the 6S Plus. They both come in the same colors, of course, but storage is the biggest thing to talk about first. They still ship the base models with 16 gigabytes in 2015, and now 16 gigabytes you can't do nothing with. You can't use live photo because you're gonna really eat that storage. If you use 4K on a 16 gigabyte iPhone, forget about putting any other apps on it and stuff. If you put music on there and apps before you do all that, which of course you will, you won't have enough storage to do any of that. Don't get the 16 gigabyte model, no matter if it might look cheap. Don't go with 16. Buy 64, or if you can afford it, I would say 128, because if you put a lot of music on there and a lot of apps, and you want to do 4K recording for a long period of time and a lot of live photos, 128 would be good. If you're going to do half of that, which means a little bit of 4K and a little bit of live photos and not too many apps, well, in a lot of apps, and like 300, 400 songs, or maybe just like 250 songs, 64 gigs would do good. And if you're in the market for a 16 gigabyte iPhone, which I don't know, why would you guys want to buy one? Don't even do 4K video at all. And if you do, just do it for less than a minute. Live photos, try to do one or not even. Don't install a lot of music on there. And you won't be able to put a lot of apps because you only get like 10 to 12 gigabytes out of the box. And here's the weight and dimensions of the iPhones. So they did make them a little bit heavier and a little bit thicker. I don't really notice that when you hold the iPhones. They're still light. You're not going to notice it. And all the cases from the previous generation of the iPhone 6 will work perfectly. And the displays are the same screen sizes and resolution. And they're talking about other stuff with the models and stuff, how same RGB and stuff like that. The A9 chip and stuff. And with that, you get them on, all your carriers, AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, or Verizon, or unlocked if you really want so. And Bluetooth 4.2, like I said, and AC Wi-Fi with MIMO support, and NFC, of course. One thing I do gotta talk about is the battery of the two new iPhones. They went down 1,000 milliamps less than last year. iPhone 6s went down from 1,800 to 1,700, and the 6s Plus went from, I believe, 28 or 2,900 down to 2,700. But they do give the same battery life as last year's models, even though they are a little bit thicker. The reason why the batteries got shrunk was because the Taptic engine's at the bottom, right where the battery's at. So they had to shrink the battery down to do that. And a lot of people been noticing on the 6S that there has been battery problems, losing power and stuff. And let me show you. This is after the WWDC event, and this happened this month. I'm going to show you the accessory that they did release for this iPhone. So we're going to go take a look at that, and then we're going to go right back on to the other stuff. Okay, so we're going to get the accessory for the iPhone 6s, which is the Apple battery pack, which there's a lot of stuff to talk about for that. So we're going to select it by iPhone, and case and protection should be under. Here it is, the iPhone 6s smart battery case for $99. Just look at this thing. Look at the hump on the back of it for the battery. It's really, I would honestly say, I'm 50-50 about the design. It's okay on the front. On the back, I wouldn't really like it on the back, how the way it looks on the back, but just, this drives the point of buying an iPhone 6s. My opinion is, don't buy a 6s. If you're willing to just live with the bigger display on the 5.5 inch 6s Plus, and if you really want OIS and all that, just go for that because you do get a better battery. And this is why I personally would go with the iPhone 6s S Plus, over the smaller 6s. Because look at this battery case. It has a ugly hump on the back of it. And it's basically just a rubber case, a silicone plastic case that they just slapped a battery onto it. And they did make improvements down here for the speaker to front facing fire up speaker. and a little microphone port down there. There is, well, good thing about this, you can charge it with your lightning connector because it charges the phone and that together. But the major problem about this, the indicator light, well, that's not the only major problem, but the two major problems are the indicator light being on the inside of the case, which is stupid, and another thing is when you plug the iPhone into this case, at whatever percent, it can be at 100%, you plug this iPhone into the case, or you leave it in the case, and you say, okay, both of them are done charging. You just unplug the whole thing, iPhone's connected to the case, and the case starts charging the iPhone, which is stupid because a smart battery case is not supposed to do that. It's meant to be there where you can, inside the phone in the notifications app or in the settings app, turn it on and have it send a signal to the case saying, hey, I'm dead, charge the phone. Or if the phone's at 20% or lower, the phone should send a signal to the battery case and say, hey, I'm at 20%, I'm dying here, start charging me up. And then it should work like that instead of, oh, 100%, plug it in, it charges. That's that's what not a smart battery case is meant to be. And Apple's calling a smart battery case is kind of stupid, in my opinion. For them to say it's a smart battery case when it can't even, you can't control it when to charge it, when to turn it on, when to turn it off, and things like that. But the only cool thing about it would be if you swipe down in the notification center, you can see how much percentage that has, as well as your Apple Watch and the phone itself. But otherwise, you can't like really check on the case without going into your phone. Now, say if you want to just see an indicator light on the case itself, it's underneath your phone, so you have to take out your phone and look at the little indicator light. And they only come in two colors: charcoal black or gray and white. And for $99, I wouldn't say buy this case. I would say not to buy this. And if you like the Apple logo on the back and you really want one, and you have a 6S, I would say if you want to buy it, you buy it. If you can buy a Mophie juice pack or that slides onto the phone, that's a case just like what this does, but looks a lot better, has more battery into it, indicator light on the back of it, you just click a button and there's a switch you can turn it on to start charging the phone, or you can carry around a battery pack with you and just plug in the cable and use whatever case you want to use. And this came out of the blue, so Apple just pushed this out there. And if you guys want to see me do a review on this, I will buy one in the charcoal gray or white, or if you want me to review both colors, I can. Just let me know down in the comments. But as of this case, I mean, it has the same exact 1800 hour milliamp battery as the iPhone 6, and they're saying it does 25 hours of um, internet and talk time and things like that, 18 hours of LTE. But it only works with the 6S. Well, 6 and 6S. But if you want me to buy both colors and actually try them out, I will. And just let me know down in the comments if you want me to try the new Apple case out. Smart battery case. So getting back to the WWDC portion that happened, now we're going to go take a look at the iPad. So the iPad Pro was released the same time in September, which was the first for Apple to bring the iPad event and the iPhone event all together into one event. So here's the iPad Pro. It has a resolution of 2732 by 2048. It's a 12.9-inch display, 78% larger than the iPad Air 2. It has a 2.7K display. It has a lot of power under the hood, and it's 6.9 millimeters, and it's 1.57 pounds. And they compared it to the original iPad, which was 1.54 pounds instead of 1.57, but in a much bigger display and thinner for the iPad Pro. And here's the new photo alignment they had to do, the oxidized TFT display, variable fresh rates, so it cuts down from 60 frames to like 30 frames when you're not using a lot of it, and the T-Con, or the timing controller, and things like that to manage the display. Here's the Apple Pencil. It's basically a big Apple stylus. It's $99. It only works with the iPad Pro. It charges with the Lightning connector on the iPad Pro. And the Lightning connector built into the iPad Pro has a speed of USB 3.0 speed. Has a chip in there for that. And here's the weight of it, 1.57 pounds, 6.9 millimeters thin. It only comes in space gray, gold, or silver. It has the new 4-speaker audios with a carbon fiber cap and a resonant chamber built in to give loud sounds and very beautiful sound this iPad makes. In every direction when you turn it, it balances itself out on top of the bottom. Here's the new smart keyboard, which basically it's a 169 accessory, which is just a basic Apple keyboard with the Apple functions and things like that. And their new smart connector on the bottom. And that's what the smart connector looks like in the keyboard. Here's the technology built inside the iPad Pro. And the new iPad Pro has an A9X chip. And it is a very, very powerful chip. And inside this chip, you're able to do multiple streams of 4K video rendering. The CPU is 22 times faster than the original, 360 times faster in graphics performance than the original. You're able to do a lot of professional stuff on here. It has 4 gigabytes of low power DDR4 RAM, 2.26 gigahertz processor. It's a dual core. The graphics processor has a 12 core GPU built into it. And there are starting to come some high-end apps for it, like Adobe, Photoshop, AutoCAD, and things like that. Has nice 10-hour battery in it, like always. Has the new AC Wi-Fi in it with MIMO. And the LTE bands are 20, and it has the slower 150 megabytes of LTE bandwidth data. So it has the Apple SIM. And that's pretty much it with the iPad Pro. We're going to just look at the tech specs of it. So the tech specs covers, here's the prices of them. For 32 gigs on the Wi-Fi, it's $77.99, my bad. For 120 gigs, it's $9.49. Wi-Fi and cellular, Wi-Fi plus cellular is 120 gigabytes for $10.79. And that's not including the accessories. So if you add the other accessories to these, like the Apple Pencil or the smart keyboard, and if you add a case to it, like the Apple cases and things like that, these prices will go higher than that. And the cameras, they didn't really talk about them, but they're the same as the iPhone 6. Nothing upgraded there. The weight and dimensions of the device. And it comes with the Lightning to USB cable and the USB power adapter. 12.9-inch display. 89 chip with the M9 built in. Same camera as the iPhone 6, just pretty much the same exact front and back camera. And that's pretty much it with the iPad Pro. And we're gonna take a look at the last thing that they released, which was the Apple TV. And I'm not gonna go through the entire thing of the Apple TV, like click on each of these. I'm gonna go into the tech specs and I will talk about it. So the Apple TV lets you have a app store on the device, which means you can download apps and stuff on there, but they're only limited to 200 megabytes, and you have a whole new interface built off of iOS 9 called tvOS, and you get a new remote which has a glass touch sensor at the top, and it's all aluminum. It charges with the lightning connector, and you have a button next to the menu button that turns on the TV and the Apple remote, a Siri button, play, pause, volume up, volume down, a menu button. The Apple TV has gotten thicker because of the A9 chip that's built into it. Has a bigger heat sink on it because it's much more heat and more demanding. You get 32 gigabytes of storage for $149, 64 gigabytes for $199. The remote it only has Bluetooth 4.0. It has IR transmitter, accelerometer, and gyroscope, lightning connector for charging, and it gets you months of battery life on a single charge with typical daily usage. And the ports on it are different now, so it has the built-in power supply. It has HDMI. It has USB Type-C only for diagnostics, and it has a 10100 Ethernet, and optical audio has been discontinued off the device. The HDMI is now HDMI 1.4, AC Wi-Fi with MIMO support, a 10100 Ethernet, Bluetooth 4.0, IR receiver, USB-C for services and support. And you have your A8 chip with 64-bit architecture. And the video standards are the same, and it does not support 4K. And that's the box the Apple TV comes in, and this is all the stuff you can include with it. And that's all that happened during the Apple WWDC event. iOS 9 was released, as well as OS 10.11 El Capitan, watchOS 2, and there has been updates to that, like 10.11.3, iOS 9.2, watchOS 2.2, or 2.1, I believe. That has improved a lot of bugs, a lot of stability, and with iOS 9.2, the iPhone now supports, through the Lightning connector, the SD card reader, and the USB adapter. And there has been a lot of improvements throughout all the OSs they updated, and now Apple has released a beta for 10.11.4 or 10.11.5, I believe, and iOS 9.2.1. There's no watchOS 2.2 or 2.3 beta yet. And that's everything that happened with WWDC in September, and the Apple Smart battery case that was released this month. Please let me know if you want me to buy both colors of the smart battery case for the 6S, and if you want me to do another video about them, I will get them and unbox them if you guys want me to. Just leave me comments down below. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. Rate and comment. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video.